Going on, y'all? It's DG back with another video, and today going to be giving y'all a review on these bad girls right here, the Nike Sabrina 2. So let's get right into it. It is currently 1 a.m. right now, and you will see this video in literally 6 hours from the time that I am filming this. So please give this video a like, comment, share, whatever you guys want, especially if you guys like my content. Traction on the Sabrina 2 is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's the best traction in the world, like Kobe 9 level, and I don't think this traction is as good as even the Wave Wade 11, but this traction alone, without even comparing it to other shoes, is really good. I would say it's very much performance-wise the same as the Sabrina 1. You guys have that traditional herringbone pattern at the front. It keeps that same design language like in the middle with that line, and then in the back it's kind of this circular radial pattern. In terms of durability, you guys see that it's already fraying, so I wouldn't say that this is the most durable rubber out there for sure, because I have not played in these outdoors yet, although I will, but it's already fraying, especially in my high spot, high heat areas. It does pick up, some dust for sure. I've played in these in 2 different courts now, and one of them is pretty nasty. It's a community center where they hold summer camps with kids and stuff like that. The other gym is a high school gym, which is relatively clean. The traction holds up on both floors, but especially on the dusty one, you will have to wipe from time to time. It has a really good bite, a really good stop, but it's not like an instantaneous type of traction like a curved flow or even the Wave Wade had. Those tractions are very sticky. These just are more of the traditional pattern, so if you're used to and played in the Sabrina 1, you will have a very similar experience with the Sabrina 2. Overall, the traction is very good and it will hold up. If you're on dust, you just have to wipe, minimally. I would say this is not a shoe that you have to wipe like 50 times. So this traction is good. In terms of the cushion setup, they're using a new Cushline 3.0. I believe the term is that it's the first ever shoe in Nike basketball to feature that cushion setup, Cushline 3.0, because it debuted with Jordan brand, I believe. So they're putting it in the Sabrina 2, and then you do have a 4-foot air zoom unit. Cushion feels pretty much the same as the Sabrina 1, guys. I don't want to drag this out because literally, to me, it feels very, very similar. I would say that you do need to break in the 4-foot. You really do, especially to feel that zoom. I couldn't really feel it at first, but after playing in these, you can feel it just a little bit more. So I would break these in. They are very similar to the Sabrina 1, guys, in terms of cushion. So if you have played in them, then you will know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, or if you have not played in the Sabrina 1, the cushion setup is very low to the ground, but you feel a little bit of compression. It's not like an Air Zoom Turbo unit though, like the Kobe 5. And we'll get to that soon in terms of, the aesthetics and looks of the Kobe 5 and the Kobe line in general for these. But the overall cushion setup is pretty low to the ground, I would say. But you still feel like a very, I would say, honestly say like a thin slab of cushion. You're not going to feel too high up off the ground. You're not going to feel too much impact protection. This is very much a guard setup and a mobile big setup. If you're a shifty, fast, relatively, you move around considerable amounts, then this shoe will, be adequate enough for you. So it does have a pretty thin slab of cushion all throughout the shoe. And once you break in that 4-foot, you do feel the zoom there, but it's not as much as an Air Zoom Turbo unit like the Kobe 5. And then the heel, it's not as much as the Kobe 5 Cushline for sure. In my personal experience, the cushion setup was adequate enough for me, especially as a guard, right? You can move fast. It's pretty low to the ground, so I like that. But it's nothing like the Wave Wade 11. I just tested those. It's not like it has a huge bounce or, full-length Air Zoom Strobel, right? It's very, relatively thin, but you can still feel it. So it has a lot of court feel. In terms of the fit of the shoe, I would say this fits slightly better than the Sabrina 1, especially as a wide and flat footer. I had a much better experience playing in this shoe. The reason for that is because I have the Sabrina 1 insole, sock liner, whatever you want to call it right here. This is a Nike ID. And right where this midfoot portion is, like my foot literally just is way too big and it goes over the footbed in the Sabrina 1. For these, like it actually felt more straight and much more of a softer and better experience overall, especially as a wide footer in the Sabrina 2 in comparison to the Sabrina 1. The second thing I'll call out, which I found to be a really big difference personally, is that the toes on both of these shoes are different, right? You have a knit in the Sabrina 1. You guys see this pink colorway, Nike ID. You have this knit material, and in the Sabrina 1, it fits much closer to my foot, okay? It fits like kind of like a glove kind of, whereas this, you know, screen mesh material on the Sabrina 2 has a little bit more volume. It's not like pinching my foot. It's not as close to my foot as the Sabrina 1. So as a wide footer, I had a better experience with fit in the Sabrina 2 for sure. So with that said, if you are a wide footer, I would honestly recommend staying true to size, or just going, you know, just to be safe, go with the size that you got in the Sabrina 1. To be very blunt, that was one of the first things that I noticed about the Sabrina 2 was the fit. And even playing in it, it just felt much better as a wide footer, honestly. It really did in comparison to the Sabrina 1. But again, all of this is personal experience, so you know, just try it on in store if you can, and if not, then just go with your Sabrina 1 size. In terms of lockdown, this has a very traditional lacing system, and the heel counter is very pronounced as well. So once you tie up the laces, you're locked into the heel, and there's no issues with lockdown in this shoe. I actually think that lockdown is pretty good and had no issues. Materials as well are very lightweight, very similar to the Sabrina 1, but I would say that I like the materials on the Sabrina 1 a lot better, because you guys see this embroidery, you guys see this knit, so there's much more variance in colorways and aesthetics in terms of how these look on Nike ID, for example. But for these, they're using a screen mesh, and obviously you guys see that it's not as detailed as the Sabrina 1. I guess they changed the swoosh a little bit so it looks, you know, more luxurious. It has this iridescent one in this Court Vision colorway, but I would say performance-wise that the materials are very light and they are accommodating, right? It's pretty flexible, nothing too bad for wide footers. I just expanded on the fits. But in terms of aesthetics, I like the Sabrina 1 a lot more, simply because it has more panels. In terms of the support of this shoe, I had no issues. It is very similar to the Sabrina 1, where I also had no issues. It comes with a wide base, which is also really nice. It also protrudes out a little bit on this side right here as an outrigger. And overall, like I just talked about and mentioned, the heel counter is also very good in this shoe, as well as the lockdown. So it's very low to the ground as well. I keep adding on things about the support, but all in all, it's good support wise. You're low to the ground. You're not really gonna, you're not gonna roll your ankle in these unless you step on someone's foot. With that said though, one of the things that I called out in my Sabrina 1 review way, many months ago, last year, was that it wasn't, one of my downsides is that it wasn't bouncy at all. It was kind of just like a, flat shoe, very court feel shoe, just like a regular guard type of setup. So I would highly recommend for the Sabrina 2 to put the Move insoles, simply because it has a plate in here, which acts kind of like, extra carbon fiber and, more support underneath your foot that helps you with that heel to toe transition. So I do recommend putting these in. If you want to get them, then go to the link in my description below. But overall, I do like using these Move insoles for pretty much every single basketball shoe. You don't have to use these if you don't want to. I think the regular insole is just fine. It's just like there's nothing with it, and these come with more cushion and an extra support plate. So, you'll be fine with the regular insoles, but I would say that these aren't necessarily a bouncy shoe, right? This is more of a guard type of shoe for like shifty players and move fast on a dime, kind of like a GT cut, for example. But overall, I would say that the support, the bounce is adequate enough if you have a play style of a guard. In terms of the aesthetics, I absolutely love them. They do look like a Kobe 5. It's very undeniable at this point, where pretty much the design language is so similar to the Kobe 5, even up to this, like right here, like the outrigger and all of this, like it just looks like a Kobe 5. So I personally like it because everyone, if you like the Kobe 5, you're gonna like these. In terms of looks, in terms of performance, honestly, I would say that this is very much a budget Kobe. If Kobe had a budget line, it would be these, but these are much better than a budget shoe, obviously. But like what I'm trying to say is that if Kobe is like all the way up here, then the Sabrina is like slightly below, right? It's kind of just like a derivative of a Kobe, in my opinion, especially the Kobe 5, where it kind of has the same design language and the same type of performance. I would say that if you can't afford a Kobe, which is pretty much a lot of people, and they continue to make them limited for some reason, or they're trying to make them more available, I would say that the main differences between these and the Kobe 5, to put it quite bluntly, is that the Kobe 5 fits better. It's much more of a one-to-one type of sock fit in the Kobe 5. These have less cushion overall, because the Kobe 5 has Cushlon in the back, Kobe 5 Pro, and then the Zoom Turbo in the front. Then I would say the traction in the Kobe 5 is slightly better. Like, these squeak more, but the Kobe 5 has like a little bit of a better grip and stop. But overall, this shoe is amazing in my opinion. It's definitely one of the best Nike basketball shoes by far, just like the Sabrina 1. Aesthetically, they need to put these on Nike ID once again, because the colorways would go crazy. Hopefully these go on Nike ID. We don't see any, Nike by You, Nike ID options yet. And I might ask some people at the brand to see if they will, but I'm kind of hesitant because, Nike is not going through some good times right now if you guys aren't into business or news. So I might lay off there, but these shoes are very good, guys. If you're a guard who likes traction, cushion, or, an adequate amount of cushion, this is not like a full-length boom or something like that from Way of Wade or Li Ning. But if you like, just kind of a thin layer of cushion, you can still feel it, then you like traction, you like kind of just like the aesthetics, this is a very good guard shoe. And honestly, I can see a lot of, big men wearing these, especially in the game today where pretty much everyone plays like a guard. So this is a shoe I will definitely have in the rotation. It's very minimal, it's very light, it has good traction. Lockdown is good, aesthetically they're just fire, and they look good on feet and they feel good. Lastly, again, I will say that they are very similar to the Sabrina 1. So if you played in the Sabrina 1 and you like them, then you will like these. That concludes my review on the Sabrina 2. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Follow me on all socials at DGHoops. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, especially if you made it this far. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.